Hello my friends, welcome to my review of the Too Faced White Chocolate Chip palette. This is a little mini palette that came out, very, very limited edition. No, I wasn't planning on getting this, and then I looked at it and I went, pretty colors, and it's chocolate, and I want it, and I know I'm being tricked by marketing, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. I had to. There was something calling me to this palette that made me want to buy it, so I did, and now I'm going to review it for you. Before I get into the review, I've been being asked a lot lately what else is on my face, so just very quickly, my foundation today is the e.l.f. Moisturizing Foundation Stick. I don't believe this is available anymore. If it is, it's very limited quantities, very limited shades. I've seen it on Ulta, here and there. It's a really, really great foundation. I'm in love with it. This is not a review of this foundation, Jen. I'm just so mad they discontinued it. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Light. Oh, and this is in the shade Natural, by the way. Then for blush, I'm trying out some indie brands. So the blush I'm using is by Eldridge Organics, and it's Autumn Spice, and it's actually only made out of herbs and spices, which I think is really super cool. For highlight, I'm wearing the Essence Pure Nude highlighter in Be My Highlight. For bronzer, I have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and for contour, the NYX Professional Makeup Love Contours All palette, the lightest shade of bronzer. And lastly, for lips, another indie brand, it's called Addictive Cosmetics. I have their Natural Anywhere liner all over my lips in the shade Torrid, and then I've topped that with their Ice Queen Lip Junkie is what it's called. That's the shine you're seeing. This is more of like a stain, and this is like a shine, but I'm working on a review of this stuff, the indie stuff, so that's coming soon. I got these off Etsy. I'm doing like a whole little Etsy video that I'm working on that I'm really excited about. Anyway, enough about what else is on my face. Let's get into talking about this chocolate chip palette. Now, as usual, if you're used to my review videos, I pack a lot of information, so definitely make sure you go to the skip ahead buttons down below if you want to skip ahead to a specific portion of the video. So first thing we're gonna talk about is that this was extremely limited edition. It was sold at Sephora.com. It was only available for maybe an hour or so before it sold out. They are talking about bringing this back. It does say on the Sephora website, it's still there, and it says email me when available, so you can always sign up for the email notification at Sephora if you are interested in purchasing this palette, but it's currently unavailable. I did hear a rumor that it will be back in the spring, but I don't know if that's true or not. The packaging is made out of plastic, which this is the first time I personally have seen a Too Faced palette made out of actual plastic. Usually they're made out of some kind of tin. For example, this is the peanut butter and jelly palette. You can see the size difference as far as like the thickness of it and the size of it. And then if you look at, let's say, the chocolate bar palette, you can see it's the same kind of material, and then this is the plastic. These older, smaller palettes they used to make out of cardboard. They were this like flip up cardboard size, but they were still about the same size as, let's say, like the Sugar Pop palette or the peanut butter and jelly palette. They were about the same size. So this, to my knowledge, is the smallest eyeshadow palette that Too Faced has ever made. Inside the palette, you have your shadows, you have your mirror that takes up the full top of the palette, and then on the back, you have all of your shade names. There are 11 eyeshadows in this. 10 of the shadows, these smaller ones, are 0.5 grams each. The top one, this longer one, is 1.5 grams. So that ends up being 6.5 grams total of product in here. It is a $26 eyeshadow palette, which comes out to $4 per gram of product. I took some notes on some other very popular products. So for example, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette breaks down to $2.79 per gram of product. The Urban Decay Naked palette is $3.19 per gram of product. Kat Von D Metal Matte is the cheapest that I've ever seen at a Sephora price, which was $1.60 per gram of product. And the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, actually, even though it's cheaper than some of these other palettes, it actually breaks down to $5.25 per gram of product. So it's actually more per gram than this palette here. So this is a very expensive palette when you talk about price per gram of product that you're getting, but of course it is a more inexpensive product at $26 compared to, let's say, $50, $45 for some of the other palettes I'm talking about. Other details about this product: it is made in the United States, but it is manufactured in the Dominican Republic. Too Faced claims to be cruelty-free, but now there's all of this drama in that Too Faced is now sold to Estee Lauder, and their parent company Estee Lauder is not cruelty-free, so money eventually trickles up to Estee Lauder, which is not a cruelty-free company, even though this product was not tested on animals. It is gluten-free, it's formulated without without parabens, sulfates, or phthalates. It is not vegan due to carmine and also possibly the ultramarines, which can be plant-based or animal-based. We just don't know. So now that we've gone into the details of this product, let's go ahead and show you the swatches. I'm gonna show you finger swatches and brush swatches. Here they come.
You and I go hard at each other like we're going to war. You and I go rough, we keep throwing things and slamming the door. You and I get so damn dysfunctional and start keeping score. You and I get sick, yeah, I know that we can't do this no more. Oh, but baby, there you go again, making me love you. And I stopped using my head, let it all go. I got you stuck in my body like a tattoo. And now I'm feeling stupid, crawling back to you. So I cross my heart and I hope to die, that I only stay with you one more night. And I know I said it a million times, but I only stay with you one more night. Try to tell you no, but my body keeps on telling you yes. Try to tell you stop, but your lips just got me so out of breath. I'll be waking up in the morning, probably hating myself. I'll be waking up feeling satisfied, but guilty as hell. But baby, there you go again, making me love you. And I stopped using my head, let it all go. I got you stuck in my body like a tattoo. And now I'm feeling stupid, crawling back to you.
So now you have seen the swatches from the palette, and I'm now going to show you how I got this look using, well, not this look, but this look using only this eyeshadow palette. I can tell you it is quite a challenge to get a variety of looks out of this eyeshadow palette. We're gonna get into more about that with the review that's coming up after the ingredient analysis, which is coming up after the demo. So we'll see you in just a minute.
Midnight, you come and pick me up, no headlights. Long drive could end in burning flames or paradise. Paid interview, oh, it's been a while since I have even heard from you. Exactly where it leads, but I watch us go round and round each time. Cause you got that daydream look in your eye, and you got the red lip classic thing that I like. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time. We never go out of style, we never go out of style. You got that long hair, don't care, green t-shirt, and you got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time. We never go out of style, we never go out of style.
So it goes, I can't keep my wild eyes on the road. Take you home, lights are off, she's taking off her coat. You say, oh, I heard that you've been out and about with some other girl. I say what you heard is true, but I can't stop thinking about you. And I said I've been there too a few times.
'cause you got
So I
that
hope you enjoyed the demo. Now we're going to go ahead into ingredient analysis. This is where I go to EWG.org or Environmental Working Group and other sources that I happen to trust and love and find out about the ingredients that are contained in this palette to see whether they are harmful for you or maybe people with specific skin types, and so you know what to be aware of. So let's go ahead and jump into that. The first thing is that almost every single shadow in here is a different formula. The exceptions are cookie dough and cake batter are the same formula, but other than that, they are all different formulas in here. The red flag ingredients that come up in this are ones that are very, very common in many of my other videos. If you've seen my ingredient analysis before, you're going to recognize these names: talc, ethylhexyl palmitate, phenoxyethanol, and ultramarines. Let me just give you a quick rundown of the ones that I talk about often. First one is talc. It is a bulking agent, so basically they have a bunch of pigments. They have to use something to make the pigment stick to something to make there be more product, to make it more usable. You probably wouldn't want to put a straight pigment on your eyes. You've got to kind of buffer it with something. It's like taking a shot of straight vodka or mixing it with something else. You most likely are going to want to mix it unless you're hardcore like that. Some people are very allergic to talc, so be aware of that. Talc is in every single one of these eyeshadows. Also, there is some concern with the lack of research that people have done on talc. I will link some links down below to different articles you can read about talc. The next one is phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative. It does have an irritation concern for the skin and eyes. The next one that's very common is the ethylhexyl palmitate. There is some evidence that it is an irritant. One of the community members, her name is Carolyn, her sister is highly allergic to ethylhexyl palmitate. So there are people that are allergic to it. It is a replacement for silicone. So it gives it that slip, that wetness, that you know, the softness that you feel in a shadow when you say that it's buttery. That's the ethylhexyl palmitate. If you haven't ever been allergic to eyeshadows in the past, it probably won't bother you, along with the phenoxyethanol will probably not bother you if eyeshadows have never bothered you in the past. But if they have bothered you in the past, you may want to check and see if those ingredients are in them, because it's in pretty much every eyeshadow. The last couple of reviews that I did, the Kat Von D Metal Matte, the the Tarte Pro palette, that has both of those ingredients in them. The next one is one that I kind of found by accident. I accidentally searched for it when I meant to search for something else, and I found something really interesting. This is sodium dihydroacetate. It's actually labeled as a 1 on Environmental Working Group, but also I wanted to let you know that it does have workplace exposure restricted to low doses in the European Union, and it is classified as toxic or harmful. Only products used around the mouth and the lips. So you don't want to put some of these eyeshadows on your lips. That's for the European Union. But then Canada says that it's classified not expected to be potentially toxic or harmful. So people in Canada, whatever research they looked at, they said it was fine. People in the European Union said that it's not fine. Don't put it on your lips. The next one is another preservative called sorbic acid. There are data gaps for sorbic acid for organ system toxicity. So basically being harmful to your organs, non-reproductive organs. They have found evidence that it is a human skin toxin or allergen. There is strong evidence for that for the Cosmetic Ingredient Review Assessments, which is based in the United States. And also, but then again, this is very interesting. Canada says that it's classified as not expected to be potentially toxic or harmful. So in Canada, they say that it's fine. In the US, they say that it can be toxic or harmful. We just don't know how much you would need in order for it to be harmful. It is rated as a 3 by EWG, just so you know that is in here. The next one I think is really, really interesting, and they've actually removed this ingredient from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, but they put it in the old Anastasia palettes. This is something called PTFE, which is actually Teflon. If you know Teflon, I know I'm like waving this palette around, but I just feel like I need to express myself, and it's like, you know, it's like whoosh, 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 whoosh. So Teflon is, you know, you put it on your pans and it makes that nonstick coating, and then it was all this thing, the big thing about cancer, and when you heated the pan up to a certain degrees, you know, you didn't want that Teflon cooking into your food. That's the big concern with Teflon. It's really not a huge concern for things like eyeshadow because you're not heating up your eyeshadow, but Environmental Working Group does say that it's a 5 on their radar, so that's why I wanted to mention it. There are a couple other ones on here. They're the colorants, so we have aluminum powder, which is rated a 4 to 9. It is a known human nervous system toxicant, toxicant. Yes, toxicant. But again, it's one of those things where you're really going to need it in a high concentration. You're not going to find it in a high concentration in this eyeshadow palette. It is FDA approved, and the FDA says that it may safely be used in coloring externally applied cosmetics, including cosmetics intended for use in the eye area. Ultramarines is the next one. It's also a colorant. The pigments, like I said earlier when we were talking about whether it was vegan or not, can be animal derived, but they could also be plant derived, or they can be from synthetic sources. It is restricted in cosmetics use, concentration, or manufacturing restrictions only for products on the lips by the FDA. So again, don't put it on your lips. And then the last one is something called CI19140, which is another colorant. It's called Yellow 5 Lake, and it's rated as a 3. There are some high concerns for persistence and bioaccumulation, but this is one of those things, again, we don't know how much it takes to bioaccumulate or build up in your system in order for it to be harmful. There's also some moderate concerns for organ system toxicity, again, non-reproductive. It is restricted in cosmetics for use and manufacturing restrictions by COSING, which is the European Union. The Environment Canada Domestic Substance List has data gaps. They say that they found studies where it's really bad, and then studies where it's fine, and then other things where studies where it's really bad and things that are fine, both for the bioaccumulation and for being toxic or harmful. So, you know, it's one of those things where we just don't know. There isn't enough information on it, but as of now, they're allowed to put it in eyeshadow. If it bothers you, don't buy this. So this one is definitely not as clean as the last two palettes that I reviewed, the Tarte Pro and the Kat Von D Metal Matte. This one definitely has some other ingredients that may cause concern in some people. One thing I do want to mention before we move on to my full review is that this does include cocoa powder, which is in all of the chocolate bar palettes, but it also includes something called vanillin, which is a synthetic vanilla, and that is what gives this a white chocolate chip smell. It really does. It smells amazing. It's got the same chocolate bar scent, but then it's got that little bit of vanilla, and it smells wonderful. If you do own the Tarte Pro palette, they do use vanillin, but also vanilla extract in the Tarte Pro palette. So imagine kind of if, you know, the chocolate bar palette smell and the Tarte, you know, In Bloom or the Tarte Pro palette had a baby, the smell would be in here. And it does smell really, really, really good. So now that all that geeky stuff is over, let's get into my full review of this palette. So, I've got some positives, believe it or not, and I've also got some negatives. Let's start with the negatives, because that's kind of the pink elephant in the room, where we just can't avoid the negatives with this palette. The first negative is the size, of course. It is very small, but like my friend Vicky, who's in the community, she said, you know, it's sometimes nice to have smaller palettes because you can hit pan faster. You can, if you get tired of them, you can move them out of your collection faster, and it's nice to be able to put them in your purse for travel, or if you're, you know, going on a weekend and you want to put it in your, you know, in your bag and take it for travel, you can do that. The clasp here is very, very, very strong. I don't see it opening up very easily. You may want to, just to be sure, put it in a Ziploc sandwich baggie, because it will fit in there. Put it in there to make sure that it doesn't open up in travel. But it is nice for that, you know, to be able to take it with you. But what I don't recommend for travel is the shade selection. The shade selection is atrocious in this palette. It's so bad. It's probably the worst shade selection I have ever seen in an eyeshadow palette. It's like, what do I even do with this? What do you even do? I mean, it's, when you swatch them, if you noticed in the swatches, that you've got light, 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 light 9 times, and then you have black. It's like, what were they thinking? I just don't get it. Like, I am shocked that I can even use this shade here as a transition color. I'm shocked. But there's nothing in between. Like, it's like, there's nothing else to do. Why in the world they put these two matte peachy tan shades in there and not a deeper brown? I have no idea. I want to shake Jared right now. Like, what are you thinking? Like, Jared, call me. I will help you with stuff like this. Trust me, I will help you. This is not good. This is not a good idea. And even there, like, if you are a woman of color, you're gonna be really upset because it's one of those things. Like, my friend Tina Marie did a wonderful review on this palette, and she was so frustrated. I'll put a little clip of Tina in her review here, and you could just see, like, her eyes are like a diamond. I mean, they're just like shiny white, and there's nothing else she can do. There's no variety in here. There's no way to get multiple looks out of this palette. You're gonna have exactly what I did today. And the thing is even between these two shades here, This one here is Sugared Raisin and this one is Indulge. On the eye, they really don't look that different. And the same thing with like these shimmery shades. They really don't look that different on the eye. So it's gonna be very slight variations on the exact same theme, and it's just a boring, expletive deleted palette. I mean, when you look at it, it's beautiful. But when you think about it practically, it's just not functional. Even for light-skinned people, it's just not a functional shade selection. You know, I mean, even mixing this with other palettes, there's no point in it. There's really no, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, because when I looked at this palette online, I knew exactly what I was getting, but I don't know why I still got sucked into it. And I should know better. I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent person and I should know better, but I didn't. I got sucked in and I bought it anyway. The other thing is that I want to mention is if you have the Chocolate Shop palette that was the Sephora release, do not buy this, because 5 out of the 11 shades are in the Chocolate Bar palette. I'll show you which ones. I was reading the back after I was watching Tina Marie's video. I was reading the back, I was like, those shades sound awfully familiar. And I was like, 5 of these shades are in the Chocolate Shop. Are you kidding me? Okay, so we have Indulge, Guilt Free, Cake Batter, Cookie Dough, and Sugared Raisin are all in the Chocolate Shop palette. Wah, wah, wah. Like, don't I feel duped at this point? I totally feel duped. You know, and it's just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then the other thing is these 2 shades right here, Indulge and Sugared Raisin, could be beautiful, but the fallout is insane. If you can manage somehow to not get fallout on your face when you're applying, by the end of the day, you are gonna have fallout on your face. You're gonna have glitter all over, and it happens. I've worn this palette now 3 times. This is the 4th time I've put it on. And every time I've tried to use these shades, I've had glitter fallout. There was one time I did not use these. This one actually also has glitter fallout. This one, Pearl Candy, has glitter fallout. But I did do a look with kind of these in here, like the more mattish ones. I put the pink all over my lid. I did not have glitter fallout from there. But that being said, I do have a positive. My positive is that the lasting power on these eyeshadows is very, very, very good. I have to tell you, I have to be honest, the lasting power is great. By the end of the day, I still have separation of color. You can still see significant, you know, color. Like, you can tell what was going on when I first started. And I do enjoy that about this palette. But there's so much I don't enjoy. I cannot recommend this palette to you. It's just not worth the money for anybody of any skin tone, unless you just want to stock up on light shades. If you have no light shades in your collection and you just want light shades, or if you are a collector of Too Faced and you want this as part of your collection, there is also a, I guess, I don't think they call it the dark chocolate chip. I think it's just called the chocolate chip palette that was available exclusively on the Too Faced website. Again, I don't know if that's going to be available again. That one does have all matte shades, and it seems to be a little bit more friendly as far as the shade variation in there. It looked boring to me in that I already own the Chocolate Bar palette. I already own the Bonbons palette. So I didn't feel the need to purchase that one like I did this one, because this one did look unique. And I appreciate Too Faced for trying to be a little more unique, but little tweaks, and this could have been a fantastic palette. Little tweaks. Like I said, Jared, call me. I will help you. I will help you if you need help, because this is not okay. This is not good. You missed the mark. I'm sorry, I love you, but you missed the mark. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell if you want to be notified when I make new videos, share this video with a friend who you think will also enjoy it, and thank you so much for watching. Mad love, and I will see you in a video soon. Bye!